Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JISH Learn English Podcast. I'm Shaylin, and I'm so happy to see you again. Today, we're going to talk about something we all do, but sometimes forget to plan for: shopping. More specifically, we're going to learn how to make and talk about a shopping list in natural, everyday English. Have you ever gone to the store because you only needed one thing, maybe some milk, and somehow come home with bread, chips, chocolate, and no milk? A shopping list can help us save time, save money, and avoid buying things we don't really need. And of course, it gives us a great opportunity to practice useful English that we can actually use in daily life. So, let's listen to Tom and Lisa as they plan their shopping together. Listen carefully because you'll hear several useful words and phrases that we'll explain later. All right, let's listen.
Hey Lisa, I'm going to the supermarket in about an hour. Do you need anything?
Oh, hi Tom. Actually, yes, I was just about to make a list myself. We're completely out of fresh vegetables.
Me too. My fridge is totally empty. Maybe we should combine our trips to save gas.
That's a smart idea. Let's write down what we need. Okay, first, we need some staples.
Right, the basics. We definitely need a loaf of bread and a carton of eggs.
Good. And for dairy, can you grab a bottle of milk? Actually, make it 2. I want to bake a cake later.
2 bottles of milk. Got it. What about meat?
I want to cook spaghetti tonight, so I need a pound of ground beef.
That sounds delicious. Let's not forget the pasta sauce. Oh, and we should add some chicken breast for tomorrow's lunch.
Perfect. Now for the vegetables, let's get some tomatoes, onions, and a head of lettuce.
Wait, do we need fruit? I've been craving something sweet.
Let's get a bunch of bananas and some apples. But let's stick to the list this time. Last week I bought so many snacks that I didn't need.
You're right, no impulse buying. We should only buy what's on the paper.
Exactly. If we stick to the list, we won't waste money. So to sum up, bread, eggs, milk, ground beef, chicken, vegetables, and fruit.
It sounds like we have everything covered.
I think so. Thanks for offering to drive. Let's meet at the entrance.
See you soon.
That was a nice little shopping plan, wasn't it? Tom and Lisa both needed to go shopping, so they decided to go together, make a list, and avoid buying things they didn't really need. And honestly, that last part can sometimes be the hardest part of shopping. You walk into a supermarket with a perfect plan, and then suddenly your favorite chocolate starts calling your name. Let's start with something very useful when you're making a shopping list: how to talk about amounts and containers. We don't usually say, I need 1 bread, or I need 2 milks. Instead, we use special words to describe the amount or container of something. For example, Tom said, a loaf of bread. A loaf is a large piece of bread baked together as one piece. So instead of 1 bread, you can say, I need a loaf of bread. Next, we have a carton of eggs. Eggs usually come in a container called a carton, so you can say, I need a carton of eggs. You can also say a carton of milk or a carton of juice. Then we have a bottle of milk. A bottle is the container, so you can say, I need a bottle of milk. The same pattern works with other liquids: a bottle of water, a bottle of juice, or a bottle of Coke. Tom also said a pound of ground beef. A pound is a unit of weight, commonly used in countries such as the United States. So you might hear a pound of ground beef or a pound of chicken. In many other countries, people use kilograms instead. And finally, Lisa asked for a bunch of bananas. A bunch is a group of things that are together. So we say a bunch of bananas, and we can also say a bunch of grapes. So remember these useful shopping phrases: a loaf of bread, a carton of eggs, a bottle of milk, a pound of ground beef, and a bunch of bananas. These small words help you sound more natural and specific when you talk about shopping. Now, let's look at another very common phrase: I'm out of. Lisa said, we're completely out of fresh vegetables. When you are out of something, it means you don't have any of it left. So if there's no milk in your fridge, you can say, we're out of milk. No coffee? We're out of coffee. No bread? We're out of bread. You may also hear run out of. For example, we ran out of coffee this morning. We're out of coffee describes the situation now, while we ran out of coffee focuses more on the moment when it became finished. Both are very useful in everyday English. Now, Tom said, let's write down what we need. To write down something means to write it somewhere so you can remember it. You can say, let me write that down, or I'm going to write everything down. This is especially useful when you're making a shopping list. Then Lisa said, let's stick to the list. To stick to something means to follow it and not change your plan. So if you make a shopping list and stick to the list, you buy what you planned to buy. You can also use this phrase with other plans. For example, I'm trying to stick to my study plan, or I'm trying to stick to my budget. And that brings us to impulse buying. Lisa said, no impulse buying. Impulse buying means buying something suddenly because you see it and want it, even though you didn't plan to buy it. You go to the supermarket for milk and eggs, see your favorite chocolate, and suddenly decide to buy it. That's impulse buying. So you can say, I'm trying to avoid impulse buying, or I'm going to stick to my list and avoid impulse buying. That's a great sentence to remember if you want to save money while shopping. Now there's one more useful expression: to sum up. Lisa said, so to sum up, bread, eggs, milk, ground beef, chicken, vegetables, and fruit. To sum up means to give a short summary or repeat the main points. For example, to sum up, we need bread, eggs, milk, and vegetables. Tom also said we have everything covered. When you say we have everything covered, it means you have taken care of everything important and nothing has been forgotten. For example, before a trip, you might say, we have the tickets, the hotel, and the transportation. I think we have everything covered. So how can you use everything we learned today? Imagine you're talking to a friend before going shopping. You could say, I need to go shopping because we're out of milk and eggs. I'm going to write down everything I need. I need a carton of eggs, a bottle of milk, a loaf of bread, and a bunch of bananas. And this time, I'm going to stick to my list and avoid impulse buying. That's a great sentence to remember if you want to save money while shopping. Now, that's one of the best ways to practice English. When you learn an expression like I'm out of, write down, or stick to the list, don't only memorize the meaning, imagine yourself actually using it. Open your fridge and say, oh no, we're out of milk. Grab a piece of paper and say, let me write that down. Then, when you're at the supermarket, look at your list and say, I'm going to stick to the list. That way, you're not just learning English for a lesson, you're learning English you can actually take with you into your everyday life. And that's exactly what we want here at JISH. So today, we learned some really useful English for making a shopping list. We learned how to talk about amounts and containers with phrases like a loaf of bread, a carton of eggs, a bottle of milk, a pound of ground beef, and a bunch of bananas. We also learned I'm out of when we don't have something left, write down when we want to remember something, and stick to the list when we want to follow our shopping plan. Now it's your turn. Imagine you're going shopping tomorrow. What are 3 things you're out of? Write your answer in the comments using one of today's phrases. For example, I'm out of eggs, so I need to buy a carton of eggs. If you enjoyed the lesson, please like the video and subscribe to JISH Learn English Podcast. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.